So this term we are going to be learning about a man called Abraham in our stories. He lived a long time ago, right back near the very beginning of the Bible, long before the Lord Jesus was born. The story of his life is full of adventures, full of excitement, full of good moments and some bad moments too. But it is mostly a story all about God and his wonderful promises. Abram and his wife Sarai lived in a city called Ur. One day God spoke to Abram and told him to leave this city and travel on a long journey to live in a land called Canaan. When God spoke to Abram, he made him a promise. He promised Abram that he would have children, and that they would have children, and they would have children, and they would have children, and eventually Abram's family would turn into a great country full of people. Those who were kind to Abram's family, God would be kind to. But those who weren't kind to Abram's family, God wouldn't look after. This was the promise that he made to Abram. Abram listened to what God asked him to do and did as God had said. So he set off with his wife Sarai, his father Terah, and his nephew called Lot. When they got to a place called Haran, they decided to stop and settle. While they were here, Abram's father Terah sadly died. At this time, Abram was 75 years old. God spoke to him again and told him to continue on his journey to the land of Canaan. Again, Abram listened to what God asked him to do and did as God said. So they travelled south into the land of Canaan. They came to a great tree near a place called Shechem, and they decided to stop and settle there, putting up their tents and living there for a while. Abram, his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and their servants and all of their animals. While they were here at the place called Shechem, God spoke to Abram a third time. He told Abram to go outside and look over all the land that he could see. God made Abram another promise. He said, Abram, the land that you can see surrounding you, the land of Canaan, I am going to give that land to your family, and it is going to be where they live, and it is going to be their land. Abram gave thanks to God and worshipped him after the promises that he had made to him. While they had been in Shechem a while, Abram and those with him got up and moved south towards a place called Bethel. Once they had arrived, Abram again gave thanks to God and honoured his name. So that is the beginning of the story of Abram and his wife Sarai. God has made Abram a gigantic and wonderful promise. The big question is, will God keep his promise? That's what we'll be finding out in our stories over the next term. Does God keep his promises?